Part 10. Prince Duan wants to inspect his territory, so he walks around the villages. Not to mention Jiyu's effervescent thoughts, Mingyu's car drove all the way out of the city. At this moment, Xu Wen was sitting upright in the carriage, and opposite him was Mingyu, who was leaning on his back. Facing His Royal Highness Prince Duan, Xu Wen was under a lot of pressure. And he didn't dare to take a breath. This carriage is very spacious and bright, and there is a thick mattress under it, and it is very comfortable and soft for people to sit on. But Xu Wen was sitting on pins and needles, wishing he could stay as far away as possible. Relax, don't be nervous. Ming Yu has said this many times, but it still has no effect. Seeing Master Xu sitting upright, Ming Yu felt tired for him. Xu Wen nodded, but sat more disciplined. Ming Yu helped his forehead helplessly, he could only talk about business. Maybe he would relax after talking. Master Xu doesn't look like someone from here, right? Where are you from? How long have you been here? Ming Yu carelessly began to pull home affairs. Return to the Lord. Xu Wen handed back his report, but was stopped by Ming Yu. You and I are talking gossip, and it's not official business, so it doesn't have to be. Yes, Xu Wen replied, and then answered cautiously. Our Xu family ancestor is Suzhou, and the father's generation moved here. And the minister was born in Liangcheng. Then how many people are in your family? My parents are still alive, and my wife and children are still young. Referring to his family, Xu Wen's tone was somewhat cheerful, and his body not so tight anymore. It's very good, in this way, the family is harmonious. And you can do things with peace of mind when you are outside. Ming Yu was very pleased, and smiled. You grew up here and know more about the situation of the people. So I arranged for you to come here. You can follow this prince talked about the folk customs here and the surrounding geographical environment. Talking to Prince Duan was really like a spring breeze. And Xu Wen's original nervousness gradually relaxed. This minister must know everything and say everything. Ming Yu was satisfied now, bent one leg, changed to a comfortable lying position, supported half of his head with a hand on the small desk, and said with a smile, "That's good, we're going out of the city today. Do you have any good suggestions for visiting the villages below?" Xu Wen was shocked when he heard this. He just heard that Prince Duan's car was driving out of the city. He didn't dare to ask where he was going, he could only follow the car. Before he left the city, Prince Duan sent a message that he should go to the Lord's car. He thought that the Lord was looking for him for something important. Unexpectedly, as soon as he got into the car, Prince Duan actually asked him to sit down, saying that he was talking with him. And this was the scene of gossip just now. Now the prince's intention to go out of the city is to walk around and see the villages in his territory. Although the prince can inspect his territory at any time. However, this place is no more dangerous than other places outside the city of Liangzhou. Not to mention that the foreign bandits have just come to loot. Even if there are no barbarians, some thieves and bandits who take the risk are still extremely vicious. My lord, I'm afraid it's inappropriate to go here, Xu Wen advised. How could the prince, who is so precious, go to a dangerous place in person? What's wrong? Ming Yu smiled. But he understood Xu Wen's concerns. But he didn't intend to change course. Under the dangerous wall. The place outside the city of Liangzhou is not safe. Xu Wen handed over and said as euphemistically as possible. This prince knows what you mean. But if you are too scared to go out because of thieves near your house, what is the use of this prince here? Ming Yu said with a smile. What's more, this prince is going to inspect his own territory. Xu Wen had no rebuttal. Ming Yu took out a map from a drawer on the side, spread it in front of Xu Wen, and asked lightly. According to Master Xu's opinion, where should we go first? Shu Wen calmed down and set his eyes on the map. In fact, he doesn't need to look at the map, the entire Liangzhou terrain is in his heart. When he was young, he ran around with his father, and later became a sesame official, and even traveled all over Liangzhou. At this time, he was pondering in his heart whether his opinion, this Lord listened to it, was the second most important, mainly where did the Lord want to go? And what is the purpose of the prince's visit? Just to check out your territory? For a while, his thoughts went back and forth. Seeing what Ming Yu was looking forward to, Shu Wen bit his teeth and pointed out the village closest to Liangcheng. The closer to Liangcheng, the safer it would be. Ming Yu glanced at him with a half smile, but did not embarrass him, nodded and said, "Okay, I will go here today." After that, he ordered to go out. Shu Wen breathed a sigh of relief. He was still afraid that Prince Duan would not listen to him and would be stubborn. Now it seems that the prince is still very good at talking. Ming Yu put down the map and talked about the life of the people in Liangzhou. Most of them were talking about Shu Wen, while Ming Yu listened attentively, and occasionally asked a question or two. And Shu Wen answered them one by one. The carriage was not slow. Near noon, a group of people arrived at the village. Some people watched the convoy from a distance and went back to report. Someone clenched the hoe in his hand, carefully stuck his head out, and asked across the half-person height earth wall, "Who came from here? And where did you come from?" They also saw that the convoy didn't look like a foreign bandit or something, so they dared to ask aloud. Immediately, someone stepped forward a few steps and replied on behalf of Ming Yu, "I'm waiting for a merchant from Qingzhou. Can I take a break here when passing by?" This is what Ming Yu explained long ago. Their team is indeed a caravan size. Yes, that way it won't raise suspicion. Hearing the answer, the villagers were obviously relaxed, and several people gathered together to discuss in whispers. Before discussing the reason, I saw an old man walking out surrounded by a group of people in the village. The old man at the head should have a high status, and the attitude of the villagers respects him. When the villagers saw the old man, they hurried up to meet him, and one of them whispered what he had just said. When the old man heard this, he took a closer look at Ming Yu's caravan and saw that it was indeed a caravan. So he stepped forward and said with a smile, "Don't blame me for being neglectful. This old man Zheng is the village chief here. You have come from a long way, there is nothing else in the village, you can still drink a bowl of water." Ming Yu had already got out of the car. And after hearing what the villager said, he saluted and let the others rest in place. Then he brought Shu Wen and a few personal guards into the village. When the villagers saw that only a few of them entered the village, they finally let go of their guard and became enthusiastic about their actions. I haven't seen a caravan come over for many years. How did young Master Ming come to Liangzhou? Liangzhou is not peaceful. Only the caravan is in charge of this young Master Ming. The fact that young Master Ming's caravan arrived here safely can only mean that young Master's luck is also better. It is not that no caravan has come to their side before. However, in recent years, the border war between Dayan Country and Shishi Country has intensified, and there have been many bandits carrying knives and robbing their homes. Today, the territory of Liangzhou is really a dangerous place, and many businessmen have long stopped coming here. It is a miracle to see a caravan of this size today. In recent years, there have been frequent wars in the borderlands, and few caravans have come here. Hey, I can't do anything about it either. I have a falling out at home, and I have issued a military order. I must make some achievements before I can go back with peace of mind. Ming Yu spread out his hands and said helplessly in his tone. Shu Wen's eyes twitched when he heard it. And His Highness's ability to open his eyes and talk nonsense is truly unmatched. The village chief Zheng seemed to believe what he said, and he had to believe it. This handsome young man was born from a rich family. Young people do things with enthusiasm, and they say that they seek wealth and wealth at risk. I am afraid that they are newborn calves and are not afraid of tigers. Hey, young man, this village chief Zheng persuaded you. It's better to leave this dangerous place in Liangzhou as soon as possible. After the village chief Zheng finished speaking, he stopped his mouth when he saw that Ming Yu was nodding. But he was obviously very perfunctory. His words are here, and it is up to him whether he listens or not. In short, what other people do is beyond his control. Uncle Village Chief Zheng said that Liangzhou is dangerous, but the child didn't see any danger when he walked all the way. Ming Yu said, pretending to be puzzled. The village chief Zheng is shaking his head, thinking that you are lucky. I heard that a while ago, General Xie of the Red Robe Army went out and killed the intruding barbarians. With General Xie's reputation astounding, the other young people should get the wind and hold their tails. This is why this kid has not met, but no encounter does not mean no. You are a foreigner, and you don't know it. There are frequent wars here. There are barbarians breaking into Liangzhou and looting from time to time. And there are bandits going down the mountain to loot. The people suffer greatly. If your caravan comes over, if you encounter these people, life and property have to be left behind. Is it so serious? Although Ming Yu was prepared, he couldn't help frowning when he heard this, pretending to be worried. Let's not talk about the gangsters, they are extremely vicious. But the fighting power of the bandits is far worse than that of the barbarians. How can the local garrison not suppress bandits? Let those bandits infest the place? Hearing Ming Yu's words, Xu Wen's forehead was sweating coldly. What means? Is it to be blamed? But this is really not to blame for the head of the garrison. The village chief Zheng is a visionary and wise old man, who explained with a smile, I can't say that. First, the troops stationed to defend the border troops of the barbarians are already tense, and second, those thieves are really cunning and never commit crimes in one place. I heard that when the official army came, they would have fled and avoided it. And the official army often fluttered in the air. Ming Yu thought about it for a while and understood that the official army will always make a big noise when it is dispatched to suppress bandits. As long as you make a little inquiry, you will know that it is normal to send a letter in advance to avoid it, and let the officers and soldiers be empty. He remembered the previous invasion of barbarian bandits with only a few hundred people. Their actions were like wind. In a short period of time, several villages were devastated. If it hadn't been for General Xia's Red Robe Army, it would not have been so easy to annihilate them. Is there no other way? Ming Yu rubbed his fingers, frowning even tighter. The village chief Zheng shook his head and sighed. How many people like General Xie are there in the Dayan Country? Only General Xie could deter very minor when he stepped into action. But General Xie was already busy with his affairs and had to deal with the confronting barbarian army. Can you be distracted by these little things? A few people went to the village chief's house to sit down and rest. The house where the village chief lived was relatively good in the whole village. However, there were still 4 walls in the house, and there were few decent tables, chairs and benches. In the main room was a big Kong for people to sit cross-legged. The juniors in the family who were instructed brought a few bowls of water over, and at the door there were a few children who were clawing at the doorframe to reveal a few small radish heads. Thinking that they were descendants of the village's family, they eagerly watched Ming Yu pick up the bowl and took a sip of water, then licked their lips. Ming Yu was stunned for a moment, and the aftertaste in his mouth was slightly sweet. He wanted to come to the host's house in order to treat the guests without being rude, and even added some precious icing sugar to the water. And these children were all jealous of this water with sugar. Frosting is just an ordinary thing in the capital, but it is a precious thing here. People here don't have enough food to eat. And where can they buy useless things like icing? So it's normal for children to be jealous. Ming Yu beckoned them to come in. A few children, you look at me, I look at you. And finally came to Ming Yu curiously. Ming Yu took out a delicate purse from his sleeve, grabbed a handful of candied fruit from it, and handed it to them. Which Qingping prepared for him this morning. Occasionally, Ming Yu would have some symptoms of low blood sugar when he woke up early, so he always had sweet things like candied fruit on him. A few children glanced at their grandfather and saw that the grandfather had no objection, so they happily took it over, thanked him, and then ran out laughing. The village chief Zheng kindly looked at the back of the children leaving. Children are ignorant, guests should not take offense. Ming Yu waved his hand to indicate that it was okay. And then continued the previous topic and asked, I think the living conditions here are difficult, can't the official think of a way? What can be done? Every time the grains produced in the fields are ripe, they will attract the barbarians to fight the autumn wind. And the fruits of hard work all year round will become something in the pockets of others in a blink of an eye. Those barbarians were ruthless by nature. Except for General Xia's Red Robe Army. Other officers and troops fought against it. Well, it would be better if they could snatch some food without hurting people. And some would just slaughter the village and take away the women and children. What the village chief said came from the bottom of his heart, and his words were full of helplessness and sadness. It is because of this that the lives of the people of Liangzhou are not as good as each year. It's better that we are close to Liangzhou, but in other places far away. The life of the people is even more like today and no tomorrow. If that's the case, why don't you guys move out of here? Ming Yu was a little difficult to speak. But he still said what was in his heart. Hey, the ancestors have been here for generations, and this is the route, and where can they go? In fact, we also know in our hearts that there are still soldiers in front of us who will protect us. We believe that they can defeat the barbarians. By that time, we will be able to live peacefully. Isn't the people's greatest wish to be safe and secure? When came out, Ming Yu's eyes were red, and his heart was very heavy. The more he got in touch with the people and learned more, the more Ming Yu felt about himself. People should not bear too much burden. Most of them are kind and simple. And it is a great blessing to just live in peace. Wars since ancient times have affected innocent people. The real problem should be solved from the source. The only way to stop the war is to negotiate peace or defeat the enemy. Master Shu, do you know the reason for the war between Dayan Country and Shishi Country? Ming Yu only knows that the disputes between the two countries have a long history. And the people of Dayan Country hate it to the core, and the people of Shishi Country are brave and ruthless, and often invade the border of Dayan Country. He knows very little now. No matter how he plans. Always know yourself and the other side to have a way to deal with it. Because His Highness was in a bad mood, the people accompanying him did not dare to provoke him. They just followed silently, and Xu Wen was even more cautious and did not dare to come out. Hearing Ming Yu's question at this time, Xu Wen followed 2 steps, cupped his hands and said, Dayan Country and Shishi Country are adjacent to each other. They live by grazing, and many of their supplies are extremely scarce. It used to be okay, but it was just a small fight. Only when the grain was harvested in autumn, a small group of barbarians would come to grab some food with jealousy, and then leave after robbing. It's the autumn wind that everyone often talks about. He paused for a while, and found that the prince was listening very seriously, and continued, however, in the past few years, there have been natural disasters in Shishi Country, and I heard that many cattle and sheep were frozen to death. Many people died of freezing and starvation. At that time, Tuo Bahong, the new prince of the barbarians, came to power. He was very capable and ambitious. In order to divert the sorrow of the barbarians, he launched a war against Dayan Country. He can't stop getting great benefits. It is for this reason that the Yi people send large armies to attack the city almost every year and capture a lot of the people of Dayan Country. They are bought and sold, become slaves. Women and children are also sold to powerful people for pleasure. In the 10 rooms and 9 empty spaces in Liangzhou, except for those who were slaughtered, most of them were kidnapped as slaves or victims of war. Xu Wen said slowly, and everyone who heard it gritted their teeth. Ming Yu clenched his fists and sighed in the sky. What are the common people? Suffered such a misfortune. He is now the prince of this place, and he has the responsibility and obligation to protect the people in his territory. I must find a way to change this status quo. Ming Yu looked back at the peaceful village not far away. This peacefulness and harmony are just an appearance. I don't know when it will be crushed by the enemy's iron cavalry. I just hope that the next time I come again, the village will have real peace and harmony. In the next few days, Ming Yu visited many different villages and learned a lot of things.